So, when is the world going to finally admit that the depths of racism, anti Semitism, is real? That attacking Israel is just another form of anti Semitism? When is the world going to finally admit that the hate towards the state of Israel and by extension, Jews around the world is real? When are we going to finally admit that old age anti Semitism, stuff that had been going on for generations, has never gone away? It just morphed. When are we going to admit we have a problem? Hi, everybody. I'm David Solomon. I'm flying solo today. Stuart's internet is kaput. If you're down in southern Florida, my condolences if you're in the Aventura neighborhood. But Stuart just couldn't log in today because of that internet issue. So I'm here flying solo. And at the Rent Network, normally Stuart would be with me, and we would be talking about all kinds of stuff about politics, modern life, culture, you name it. These are our unedited, uncensored, unfiltered, and unapologetic opinions on life, politics, modern society, and so much more. This is our opinion, although we do our homework, we do our research, and we do look into the media and the absolute inconsistencies of which I will reflect upon today, and really the reality that you should be looking into. While we give you diverse perspective, we do give a different angle that which you're going to see normally in the media to make you think and to make you ponder and to make you go, hmm. So sit back today, folks, because I'm beyond apoplectic. You know, we put a priority in our society on a CEO that goes to a concert with an HR person and gets caught on a kiss cam. That makes the news. We're caught up on some stories that we just won't let go. We're caught up on issues that we just think is so important. And we get caught up on the fact that the media, politicians, the UN, and other significant authoritative bodies are blatantly racist. We just won't care. And that's what's going on today. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. In the community of Swida in Syria, there's a large community of Druze. And unfortunately, under this new president, and I put that in quotation marks because he literally overthrew a government, he became the president, and he allowed these Bedouins to enter into this town of Swida, where you have these Druze, and they went on a slaughter mission. They went out to kill, and the world stayed silent. The numbers, the toll kept going up. It was a real genocide. It was a real massacre. Now, did you see the protests in London, New York, Paris, at Harvard, Columbia? Of course you did, because Jews weren't involved. America wasn't involved. No one, in fact, got involved. Nobody cared, because who cares about these Druze people? But to the radical Muslims that are in Syria, these people needed to be cleansed, eradicated, eliminated. And if you look at the images that were floating out and the proud videos that were put out by these Bedouins, and please don't confuse this with propaganda, they put it out on their own, how they literally dehumanized this group of people. Let me take a step back, because you're thinking Druze or Jews. No, no, no. I'm saying Druze, Druze or ZE. This group, folks, is a very unique group. Their culture is a mix of Islam, Hindu, and Greek philosophical elements. They're not Muslims, but they have an aura about them. And I've met many of them in Israel. I spent much time with several of them, learning and understanding their beliefs. They're a loyal group of people. And they live in Lebanon, Israel, and Syria. They have no home. They're not looking for their own country. In fact, wherever they live is their country and are willing to fight for that country. And in the 1982 Lebanon war between Lebanon and Israel, Druze fought Druze because that's who they're loyal to. Under the Assad regime, the Druze community in Syria was under constant peril, constant attack, and they fended it off. But under this new regime, it's much, much more difficult. And there was no one coming to their rescue. No one. The Druze community in Israel begged the government to help out, and they did. And Benjamin Netanyahu once again intervened where no one wanted to intervene. Because you see, while it's not their territory, incursions have happened from the south of Syria into Israel, and it's a danger zone for Israelis. And if this area is taken over by these radicals, you have another front to deal with. And this community was being slaughtered. Slaughtered. Over 1,000 slaughtered in days, and more to come. And the world stayed silent until Israel got involved. And then stories leaked out. The angry White House. Marco Rubio had to put out a statement saying, absolutely not, we're not angry. But fictional statements came out from the White House and other places to condemn Israel again and again and again. Condemning Israel. She went out to save a population that has a very significant home in Israel. And Israel has sent aid to these people for many years. And now they needed help. They had an appeal to cry out. No one went to their help. Not the UN, which is their responsibility. Not the church. No one went to help this poor group of people. Only Israel. When there's an earthquake in a country, Israel sends masses of people as part of an emergency to help out, friend or foe. Israel has offered to help, friend or foe. But you won't hear that story because that's irrelevant, because that puts Israel in a positive light. The Druze community was proud to have Israel support the Druze community of Syria. The love affair, the intimacy that the Druze have within Israel is incredible. And to see the Israeli government risk international condemnation to save their brothers and sisters, it's unbelievable. But Israel was condemned for it. Again, where are those hypocrites? Where are the ones who say we need to save our brothers and sisters? But you see, for Druze, the Druze don't have brothers and sisters amongst the Sunni and the Shia. They are an outcast. They need to be cleansed by these radicals. That's what the belief is. And they were alone. Israel was condemned last week by an accidental rocket hitting one of the only Catholic churches in Gaza. The Pope called it barbaric. Interesting, though, how the entire time the papacy has condemned Israel. If you recall in a previous rant, I said out with the old boss, in with the new boss, same as the old boss. Same as the old boss. Leo, you're no different than your predecessor. You're not calling for the return of the hostages. You're not calling for the end of a barbaric move by Hamas. You're not condemning them. Israel acknowledged its mistake. It was a horrific mistake. It happens, unfortunately, in war. How many churches were blown up during World War II? Nobody says. But by the way, where are you, Leo, to talk about all the churches that were destroyed and desecrated in countries like Lebanon, Egypt, Iraq? The Christian community is being slaughtered. You stayed quiet. You being the papacy. You're all quiet until the Jews involved. And that is exactly what has happened. The condemnation on Israel is unbelievable. The double standard on her is absolutely appalling. And the world enjoys this game. The outcast. Everybody's favorite goat. Everybody's favorite bitch. We're going to go after Israel, and we're going to go after Jews. Now, you tell me, as we continue there's this ongoing disaster with Hamas, that the media continues to blame Israel, that there's no ceasefire in Gaza. Even the Trump administration and others Arabs have admitted that it's Hamas holding it back. But you won't hear that on the BBC, CNN, none of that. Just like you didn't hear anything on CNN until Israel intervened, and then we said, oh, Israel is bombing Syria. Why? Because you need to make the Jew look bad. And the Jew, it doesn't matter that we're not in the 1930s or the 1880s or during the Inquisition. It's still happening. It just morphed into a different form. The hate on Jews doesn't seem to end. Even when Israel is helping another human being, she is condemned, not lauded, not applauded. It's frustrating, folks. It really is frustrating, because this so-called interim president Ahmed al-Shara, who had who did this coup in Syria, was lauded as a peacemaker, meeting Trump a few months ago in Qatar. He was a brilliant, or in Saudi Arabia, brilliant. He's coming to make peace. He's laid down his arms and he's making peace. How, are you that stupid or naive to believe that that's what's going to happen? A terrorist, someone who vowed to slaughter people and has slaughtered people. People have run away into Lebanon, Israel, run away because they want to cleanse that area of the non-believers. If you're Sunni, you hate Shia. If you're Shia, you hate Sunni. You cleanse the area, but you don't condemn him. You laud him as a peacemaker. Just like you lauded Qatar as a peacemaker, but on the other hand, who's funding terrorism? Who's funding all the campus stuff? If it doesn't impact you, you don't care. But if a Jew is involved in it, now you care. Even the Epstein scenario has a Jew tie-in. There's a tie-in to the Netanyahu government. Like, it doesn't stop. The blood libel that we saw from centuries ago hasn't stopped. It just pivoted. I don't understand. The United Nations condemns Israel for helping the Druze community instead of saying, thank you for helping the fellow man because we're incapable. No, Jew cannot do anything because of what? Israel stands alone, ladies and gentlemen, for the most part. Yes, the United States is helping her for now. As we hear more rumblings, you have a Marjorie Taylor Greene and a couple of other radicals trying to stop sending arms to Israel. Although it was shot down by a big margin, thank you to the Democrats and the Republicans for working on this together to shoot it down, you still have that. You still have the Mamdanis of this world who are calling for a global intifada, who will not condemn Hamas, who on October the 8th lauded what was going on. Anti-Semitism is everywhere. It is spread like a goddamn virus, and it's not stopping. Yes, I will commend the Trump administration with Leo Terrell and his entourage for doing what's necessary. But Harvard continues to do what she wants to do. Columbia continues to do what they want to do. And others continue what they wanted to do. Yeah, they wrap themselves around the flag of free speech. But the free speech is filled and laced with racism towards Jews and Israel. There's one Jewish state in the world, people. Only one. And she's not allowed to live in peace. Get rid of her. That is what you hear from places like Ireland and Spain and France and England that once defended her is now against her. The misguided Irish government continues to shit on Israel as if, Ireland has no history of themselves being terrorists. No, no, no. No, no, no. White supremacy, colonialists, all this kind of BS filtered and thrown into schools, media, political speech. Same thing in Australia.
where an Israeli wanted to come and speak in the Jewish community, and his visa was denied because he was going to be disruptive. But bring in all the terrorist speakers all you want, no problem. Same in Canada. There's a group in the United Kingdom that is trying to organize a anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian bullshit, pro-terror musicians together because guys like Kneecap are losing their visas. How dare they? They're allowed to say whatever they want on stage. That is the virus that's spreading. And as today, as you look in this Druze community that is thanking Israel for helping them and are hoping that they even can migrate into Israel because they don't want to live under this kind of regime that is threatening them day in and day out. The world will not give Israel a high five. The world will not give Netanyahu a thank you. But will look again, once again, to condemn him, the prime minister, the country. Folks, if that is what you call humanity, you're in trouble. Thanks for joining me, everybody. We'll be back again on Wednesday, and hopefully Stuart's internet will work this time. We'll be back again for another unedited, uncensored, unfiltered, and unapologetic rant. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. Please, please, please share and enjoy. Have yourself a good week, people. And please, your prayers for the Druze community, please, are essential. Thanks.